What's up, y'all? It's week 2. Georgia Southern's headed down over to the Coliseum in LA to face USC. Let's see what happens. It's week 2, and the Georgia Southern Eagles, they're back out west in California to face the Trojans of USC. They're coming off a week 1 impressive victory out at Fresno State, where they ended up winning 38-33. This is just another big test for the Georgia Southern Eagles to see where they're at and where their season is going to end up at. So to start, first possession for Georgia Southern. There's a beautiful connection that's going to be here from J.C. French over to Sanders. But after a few plays later, Georgia Southern would punt. So the first touch for USC, and just like the old saying goes, when life gives you lemons, it takes it 63 yards to the house. Makai Lemon touchdown here, puts USC up early, 7-0 on the board. And later in the first, Georgia Southern was able to get the chains moving. Solid run here, but not much else. They were held to under 100 yards on the ground. And third and long, French here. He finds Sanders again for a 29-yard gain to set up a good first and goal opportunity for Georgia Southern. But after USC defense gets a couple stops, 4th and goal, able to stop the RPO. And on the ensuing possession, Mayava is patient. He finds Jacoby Lane across the middle. Lane ended up finishing with 67 yards and a touchdown. And then later in the possession, again, Mayava is able to survey. And he finds McCree in the flat. Big gain, big yardage here. But Harrington for Georgia Southern had a big day. He's able here to get to Mayava to force a long USC field goal. USC is up 10-0. And early in the second, USC is able to pick up big yards on the ground. It's kind of was their bread and butter, over 100 yards on the ground for them. But third and long, again, it's no problem for Mayava as he drops a dot to McCree on the sideline, and it sets up SC in the red zone. And on third and goal, Georgia Southern, big stop here to force another USC field goal. Next, Georgia Southern possession. French finds Arnold, and that's a big gain there, but really not much else after that. But Georgia Southern on the move, third and long. French drops it to Sanders to set up the first Georgia Southern field goal. But now we got under 2 minutes before the half. Mayava drops back. He has time. Doesn't see Harrington step in front for that takeaway. Big time takeaway for Georgia Southern here. And it sets up this long 50-yarder by freshman Bryant, which is true. Georgia Southern goes into the half only down 7. So first possession of the second half, and who does Mayava find? If it's not Makai Lemon, it's going to be Jacoby Lane. Big time pickup here, 24 yards, get them moving. But a couple plays later, Mayava looks to go deep, but as Mayava's looking deep, he gets hit. The ball's left short, and who is it? Harrington. Big time play, another interception, his second of the day. And this would set up another Georgia Southern field goal, 13-9. And on the next possession, 1st and 10 for SC. Mayava hands off to Strahan, and he shows why he's a 5-star recruit. He just gets through the hole, 53 yards for the touchdown. SC goes up 20-9 here. But Georgia Southern won't go away. Big gain on the ground here to start the drive. Opportunity to move the chains. But then here they go. Here's a 4th and 1, and they need this play here. French finds Helms for 36 of his 75 yards on the day. Goes ahead and sets up Georgia Southern in the red zone, and a couple of plays later, Georgia Southern puts their first touchdown on the board. Brown takes the reception for 9 and the score. And Georgia Southern, they go for 2 here. French to Dallas, and the deficit is now 3. But the Trojans will not be deterred. Mayava hits Lemon for a huge gain. He finished with 3 receptions, 113 yards, and 1 touchdown on the day. And a couple plays later, Mayava, with time, he goes ahead. He finds a tight end, McCree. And that sets up a USC score from 2 yards out. Puts them up 10 here, going on into the fourth quarter. USC forces a 3 and out on the ensuing possession. And Mayava, he's able to hit Jacoby Lane again. Another touchdown for the Trojans. And here's the last chance for Georgia Southern. French tries to go deep, but is picked off by Ramsey. USC would add another field goal here, and that sends the Eagles back to Georgia with a loss, 37-17. Next week is the home opener for the Georgia Southern Eagles, and this game with Jacksonville State. This was a roller coaster of a game. A lot of different emotions early on and late in the game. You got to stay locked in with us, so go ahead and check this one out. So stay tuned.